Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Tune in for a vibrant mix of fashion, finance, and life's essential foundations. Join us for expert interviews, insightful discussions, and empowering insights to elevate your lifestyle. From fashion trends to financial tips and personal growth strategies, we've got you covered. So grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired. Tune in now to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show and embark on this exciting journey with us.
Lifestyle Radio Show. I'm your host, Teresa Lawrence, and we are here with our guest, John Kirko, who is describing this beautiful story of the adoption of his child. So continue.
Right. So my son. I was a foster dad for 2 years, and then we made the decision to adopt each other. I had told him, I said, I'm not adopting you, we're adopting each other, we're going to do this together, and that's what we did. So we had an adoption party and all that good stuff. So in the meantime,
you did this as a single person.
Single dad, yeah, a single guy. I was just committed to him.
That's so powerful. I mean, you've heard the stories of adoption, and you did this as a single dad, and you went through the whole process.
Yes.
How long did it take?
Probably because you have to go through different courses to become a mentor, then to become adoptive or foster dad.
Okay, what courses? Could you share?
I can't remember all the courses we took, but there were multiple courses. First, to become, a foster dad, and they, had to go through all of the background checks and all that, and then also how to deal with children and especially younger people. And Julian at the time was 12, and so abandonment issues that he has, and all the other things that happen to young people like him who've been in the foster system as long as he was.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this all around back to vision, because your son has mental issues.
That's correct.
And you're still his dad.
Yes.
You're still all about love and acceptance, and share with the audience that journey of what happened there and the beautiful opening of the heart and acceptance.
So Julian, he got through high school, and when he hit 18, all of a sudden the mental disorder kicked in, and he was diagnosed with bipolar disease, and so he started having challenges dealing with school. He was going to college and stuff, and he was having a really hard time. And from there, he went and experimented in drugs and had a lot of issues. So we were seeing psychiatrists and psychologists and doing everything we could to help support him through this. But as young people go, it's challenging because it's first challenging to say, I have a mental disorder, and accept it, and then be able to deal with it, and then have to take medications and stuff.
I have to stop. And so I've had a similar experience. My brother is very much the same.
Right.
And this is so important to share, because all you families out there with family members with mental disorders, it's all about love at the end of the day. And John's story is really powerful. So continue, please.
That's really nice. Thanks. And so I will tell you, the struggle for the last 8 years has been really hard for me, because he ended up on the streets. He ended up, getting himself in trouble with the police, and now he's actually in prison. And it's because he hasn't been able to deal with taking the medications and dealing with. I still love him. I talk to him all the time. I am in his life. I told him, I'm not giving up on you. I am your dad, and I will be here forever. And that I am here to support you, and I'm going to keep on giving you the tools to help you get through that. And sometimes it takes a little longer for people to get through, and I'm just waiting for him, and just knowing that he will get through this.
Oh, that's such a beautiful story. And now I want you to share with the audience another aspect of your life, because what you just shared is going to help so many people. Because honestly, when you have a family member in that position, there are so many emotions that go through your mind, but you adopted him. You chose him, and you said, I'm not letting go. And you held to it. So, and that part to me is really powerful. When you make a decision to support someone and you held it, and that has to be very important for him in his life. But now I want John to share an aspect of his life that is is beautiful, and it's important to share because there are still people in this world that are ashamed of who they truly are, and John is not. So recently, John came out, and he lives life openly. Could you share? I want you to share the story of, because I don't know how old you are, but I think you're close to my age. And usually
I'm 30. No.
But people make these life decisions early on.
Sure.
And so this is a very interesting story, and I want you to start from the beginning and share.
Well, I mean, I think, I'm 61. And so growing up in the 70s as a young person, not understanding anything, sexuality is a challenging thing to figure out for anybody. And for me, it was a really misunderstanding. I just had no idea. I had no clue what's going on with me. I was just confused. So for the longest time, I lived a straight life. And I dated women. I was almost married at one time. And I wasn't unhappy, but I could also tell that, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't being true to who I really was. And it took me many years. I mean, I have a brother who's gay in my family, and kind of watched how, when he came out, what happened and how the family treated him. And you didn't want that. I didn't want that. I pulled back. Society has challenges with gay people. And so there's a lot involved in making that decision. And for me, it was easier just to avoid than to really go into it.
Okay, this is a really important moment, and I want to share this with the audience. There are so many people out there struggling with this issue, and it is easier to lean into the fear and to go for it because, you watched your brother go through it.
Right.
And he was probably really proud that he did that, right?
I'm sure, yes.
And so then share what happened next.
So it took me a long time. I mean, even today, I'm still going through that process. I'm still, but finally I made a decision. I said, I just got to be who I am.
Exactly.
This is the point. Who I am. And it's later in life, and it's okay. It's later in life. I've made a decision that, this is who I am. Love me for who I am. Nobody's not going to love me for who I am. They're just now going to know the more truer person, and that's what I did. So I came out and I told my family. My mom passed away last year, so I was able to talk to her and tell my family and stuff. So
And how did your brother react?
He laughed. He just thought that was funny. He goes, "Well," and he goes, "Welcome aboard" or something. It wasn't,
that's sweet.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a bad thing or anything. But I have 6 brothers and a sister. So, or 5 brothers and a sister, so that we have a big family. So, but yeah, I mean, everybody's been loving about it, and and part of the fear of coming out is how will people react to you, right?
And do you feel that your decision to come out now was because I think it's different. I think our culture is different now.
Sure.
So much. For those of you on the radio, you cannot see his face, but he's going for sure. It is much easier now.
I mean, you think about like the 80s when I was in high school and college, AIDS was prevalent. We had a lot of discrimination going on, which, it has been going on for many moons. And so as a person who's trying to figure this all out, I was like, I'm running from this. I want nothing to do it. I had made the decision because I did not want to be gay. I did not want to own that.
All right, we need to discuss that. Okay. We need to discuss that. So you knew, really, at some point, long time ago, you knew.
Yeah, right.
And you simply said, no.
No, I'm not doing it. And it wasn't, I was raised a Catholic, but still that was done. I was done with religion when it came to that at 18, but still the guilt of that was still there. There's a lot involved in it, and you're just like, and it wasn't worth the jump for me. So I would just rather sit back and not get involved than to deal. And that's a terrible decision to make, but it was what I did at the time because
it was what was right for you at the time.
It sure was. It was easier to do that than to deal with all of the stuff that was going to come at me.
Okay, so in terms of what I do, which is leadership training and all of this, you have to want something more than the pain
That's right.
that you're going to go through.
That's right.
And at some point, that pain, what you wanted, which was your truth, your authenticity,
Right.
who you are, and you wanted to shine as who you were,
Right.
because you're in this spiritual center. You're changing lives
Right.
into authenticity, and you're looking at yourself going,
Am I authentic?
exactly.
Right. Right.
So that's the point, people. Live an authentic life.
Live, yeah.
So when did that happen? When did that decision you basically said, okay, I'm done here.
Done
I'm
with
gonna be who I am.
It was about 5 years ago, to be honest, and then and slowly just talking. I still haven't told everybody, to be honest.
Well, now you're telling the world.
Now the world. Hello, everybody. I'm out there now. No, I mean, there's just some relations don't know. I mean, but I don't.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I
Right.
would tell. I've told the people that I needed to tell. So yeah, but the rest of the world will now know,
The rest of the world will now know.
and it's all good.
It is all good. I'm on a mission. I think everybody should live in a space of who they really are.
Yes, I agree.
Because when we do that, look at you shining. In the next segment, we're going to talk about other projects that he does with Vision. But living in authenticity is where it's at.
Yeah.
You have to be who you really are, and
Right.
share that with the world. And I just think everybody would be so much more productive, would be happy. I mean, you're obviously a much happier person.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, because I'm authentic now I'm really who I am. I've always been happy,
Right.
on the outside.
Yes, you do.
Inside, there's some things missing.
Right.
That's really what it was about.
So that's a beautiful segue. It's time for us to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.